what's the crack? I'm back with another video. It feels so weird doing an intro right now because I haven't filmed in about 2 weeks and it feels more like 2 months. But this video is going to be a Q&A slash advice video. It's the first Q&A I've done since my first video. But basically it's just going to be like two besties chatting because I have my questions in a hat, so I'm randomly just going to be answering your questions and hopefully someone gets good advice from this video. Obviously you don't have to take my advice, I'm not a trained professional or anything, but I feel like I'm pretty wise when I want to be, so enjoy. The first question is sassy. My friend's a bitch and so over the top. How do I tell her to stop being such a bitch and to be more nice? I feel like with this one, you can only really tell someone once or twice at the most. Like, if they're disrespecting you, you need to think about if you want to be friends with this person. Because if someone's being nasty, they're probably not really your friend. Like, there's a difference in, like, being funny with your friends or being nasty, and sometimes you just have to take the hint and stop being friends with someone, as harsh as that sounds. I think the first thing you need to do, especially if this friend's being like disrespectful to you, is talk to them about it and just communicate. Like, communication is key. That's my new favourite saying, but it's so true. Just say to them, that made me feel really uncomfortable, or that was really uncalled for, and then if they don't apologise and change their behaviour, like, I don't think you should just cut them off straight away. Give them a chance. But if there's no change after a couple of weeks and they're making you feel like shit, they're not really your friend, because someone who's friends with you isn't going to disrespect you, especially in public or around other people. So just give them a chance, and if they don't change their behaviour, then bye bye. This is coming from someone who finds it really difficult to cut people out of their life. Sometimes it has to be done. I've learned the hard way a few times and stuck around with people who weren't my friends, and it only ended badly for me. Like, if someone's treating you like shit, they're not your friend. And then if they're being nasty to other people around you, or like your other friends or family, like, you just need to say to them that's uncalled for. And then if it gets really bad, like, just say to them, I can't be friends with you if you're going to go on like this, because it's hurting other people in my life and there's no need for it. Right, we're going to give the hat a wee shake and see what we get next. What is your favourite style? I'm the most indecisive person, so I don't even know how to answer this. I take inspiration from so many different styles. This is a really hard one. I love Y2K, but I wouldn't dress like that all the time. I feel like I would get bored of it. This is my problem. I get bored of styles. I feel like my favourite style is something my granny likes to call sexy casual. I love like big oversized jumpers and oversized t-shirts and stuff like that. Comfort is key, and I feel like, I don't know, when you're comfortable you just feel like confident sometimes. Like, I don't go around in baggy clothes all the time. I also have a very glam side. I feel like my style just depends on my mood. Like, obviously if I'm going somewhere and I want to get dolled up, I will, and I'll really enjoy it. But day to day, I'm not going to be the girl walking around in heels and like fancy clothes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just depends on my mood. Like, sometimes I want to be like a really cute girly girl, and then other days I want to still look nice but in a more casual way. So that wasn't a very good description. To be honest, I don't really know the answer to this question. That's the best explanation I can give. If on a girls' holiday and you all decided to go on a massive bender, that would just be ideal right now. Would you go with one of your friends? No. Sorry to disappoint you, girls, but I just feel like it would ruin the friendship and I would never feel like completely comfortable with them again. Like, there's no predicting what could happen when I'm drunk. I'm just like a different person. But I feel like I would still not go with one of my friends because I would know in the back of my mind like you're gonna regret this tomorrow. So I haven't really had much personal experience with this one, but it says advice on being stuck in a three-way triangle at the minute, lol. My advice is pick one or run. Like, three-way triangles are just no good. I love how I'm saying that, I've never really experienced it. But someone's going to get hurt out of the three people. I think you need to decide which one you like, talk to them about it, and then if the feelings aren't the same, then bye bye.
You are the weakest link, goodbye.
And if you don't want to talk to these people about it, you should just run for the hills. If someone from within the triangle really wants you, then they're going to come to you when they realise that you've taken a step back. So either talk to them and say how you feel, or else take a step back and see what happens. And then if they don't miss you, then just leave it at that and move on, because situations like that are very awkward and you need to think about the other people too, like especially if these two people are friends. You could just ruin a whole friendship or a whole friend group. So you need to weigh up your options, and if you really want the person, tell them. If they don't feel the same, then bye. And if you can't decide, you just need to run. Like, that's my advice. What are your thoughts on plastic surgery? This is a very good question, but I could turn this video into a two-parter because I could talk about this all day. Up until about a month ago, I wanted lip fillers. I know I have naturally thin lips, and even with lip liner on, they look thin. But within the last month, I've completely changed my perspective. I think everyone should do what they want with their own body, but I think you really need to think about it before you get it done, because there's a lot of risks and possible side effects that you need to think about. And you need to think about your reasons for doing it as well. Like, are you doing it for validation, likes on Instagram, to impress someone else? If you're getting lip fillers, whatever you're getting, jaw filler, cheek filler, like there's a lot of different things you can get done. You need to ask yourself, is it a self-esteem thing? Because more likely than not, it's not going to solve the problem. If you feel like you're a confident person and you just want to tweak your face a bit, then go for it if you're willing to deal with the risks. But if it's for validation or to get someone to like you, then you really need to think twice about it, because you might not end up liking it, and then, I don't know, it can cause addiction to plastic surgery as well. Like, you might go and get your lips done and then think, oh, I love my cheeks done or my jaw, and like, it's so expensive as well to maintain. My main problem with plastic surgery is influencers and celebrities who pretend they haven't got anything done, when it's really obvious. Like, sometimes it's not that obvious, but I feel like if you don't want to say, oh, I had got something done, don't say you didn't get it done, because that leaves people in, like young people especially, feeling the pressure to look like that when it's not even real. I feel like if you're trying to live up to some ideal Instagram appearance, which is weird to say, what does that even mean, like, but if you're trying to live up to beauty standards, then you need to rethink it. If you're completely comfortable with yourself and you feel like you're a confident person, but you just want to get something done, then go for it. I swear I'm going to shut up about plastic surgery eventually. The last thing I'm going to say about it is fillers move in your face. They don't just stay in the one place. Like, when they dissolve out of your lips or wherever you get them done, they move to other parts of your face, and obviously with gravity they move downwards. So if I got lip fillers now, or cheek fillers, or whatever else, God knows what I'm going to look like when I'm 30, so that's another one of my reasons for not getting them done. But I just think it's a bit excessive to get plastic surgery unless you feel really confident with everything else about yourself and it's just a wee tweak because you want to. I've had to move because my legs are so dead from sitting in one place. But the next question is, my boyfriend's cheating on me and I know, but he doesn't know that I know. This is a bit of a dark one. So I'm thinking this person's asking for advice on what to do. To start with, I've never been in a relationship, so I'm probably not the best person to be giving you advice. But sometimes it's good to get an outside perspective. But my advice is communication is key. Once again, I'm sticking to my saying. But what you want to do is get proof and then you confront them about it. You don't have to be nice about it, but confront them. Your best thing to do then is walk away, because I think that's one of the most disrespectful things you can do. If you don't want to be in a relationship or you want to be with other people, you need to communicate that as well and end things. So after you've had your initial confrontation, like, you're not going to just let someone disrespect you like that and say nothing. But after that, your best bet is just to walk away from the situation and never beg someone to stay with you or even give them a second chance, in my opinion, if they cheat on you, because they never give you a second thought when they did it. Like, at the end of the day, we all have social media, we all have phones, so it's very easy to phone someone or text someone. It's not the nicest way to break up with someone, but it's possible, instead of just cheating on them and then letting on, especially if they let on they haven't done it. I think that would be the worst thing. So cheaters, bye bye. Personally as well, I would not accept the excuse that they were drunk or whatever. At the end of the day, if you cheated, you cheated, and it just shows how little you care about the relationship. So I would not be sticking by a cheater anyway. It's up to everyone, like, their own decisions, but I feel like you're just allowing that to happen again, because if you stay with them, they know they can walk all over you. So this one says, I'm so bad at forgiving people. How do I forgive more easily? You've come to the right place, because I'm the queen of forgiveness. It's not always a good thing, but I always just think you can't control anybody else. Like, the only person's behaviour you can control is your own. So if they've done something really bad, try to forgive them, but just cut them out of your life. If it's something a lot less serious, you just need to assess, like, how serious what they've done is. Just try to let go, because it's only a waste of your own time and energy thinking about what people have done to you. If someone has really disrespected you, then, like, it's going to be harder to forgive them. But I think it's the best thing to do for yourself. Even if you don't want to be friends with a person anymore, or you don't want to be around them if it's a family member or something, then just let go of it for your own sake, because you're the one that's going to be sitting thinking about it and annoying yourself about it when they probably don't care. Like, as harsh as that sounds. I've said it twice already in this video, but communication is key as well, because if you don't tell someone what they've done on you, then you're not going to give them a chance to apologise. And as well, I've just never been the type of person to hold grudges, because I would hate to look back in 10 or 20 years time for something to happen to that person. Even, you don't know, the next day something could happen to them, and, like, you could have just sorted out by speaking to them. Like, if they still continue to do whatever they've done, then cut them out. But I think forgiveness is very important. Advice on being in a toxic household. This is another dark one. My advice once again is assess the situation, like, what's making it toxic. If it's another family member, friend, whoever you're living with, You just need to decide whether you want to be in that situation anymore, and it's not just that easy. You can't just, if you're like 17 with no job, you can't just move out on your own. But I think if you're really unhappy in your environment, you need to consider getting out of it. You might feel very like helpless if you're in a situation like that, especially if you're young and you don't have the money to move out. But the first thing I would do is educate myself and try to figure out what's making the environment toxic. Don't blame yourself for whatever it is. But then if you're dealing with a narcissist especially, it's very hard to change someone like that, and usually there's no changing them. There's so many YouTube videos on toxic people, narcissism, whatever the issue is. So educate yourself first. I think life is far too short to spend it in a miserable environment. So if you don't have the resources to get out of it, you need to educate yourself on what you can do. Like, if you're young, do you want to go to uni? Do you just want to get a full-time job and save up your money to move out? Or like, just weigh up your options. If you feel like you can talk to the person who is making the environment toxic, do it, and just explain to them what is making you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. If they're like a violent person, obviously don't do that because they might lash out at you. But sometimes it's just a lack of communication, and you might be overthinking things in your head and thinking it's toxic. Talk to people in your life that you trust as well, because they're going to notice if it's toxic. If you're thinking, is it toxic, is it not? They're going to point out to you, and if they do, then that's a really big red flag. You need to get out of the situation. As hard as it is to cut yourself off from people, it's worth it in the long run, because you're only making yourself miserable, and you're going to look back in 10 years time and think, why did I not get out of this sooner? I feel like I've said get out of the situation about 10 times, but that is the ultimate goal if you're in a toxic household. I feel like we've had some very deep chats in this video, but the next one is what's your type? Don't really want to answer this, to be honest. I would say I don't have a type, but my friends would tell you otherwise. Like, they would probably say player / emotionally unavailable. Basically, I'd say I want what I can't have sometimes. Not that everyone who I've dealt with has been a player, but I do have a bit of a pattern. We're working on it. This is so cringe to say, but I do feel like I like a bit of a bad boy.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Looks wise, I'm not too fussy. Like, obviously I like someone who I'm attracted to, but I'm not too fussy about height or anything, which most girls are. I really can't answer this. I feel like my ideal type is someone who, like, not a really like muscly bodybuilder, but someone who takes care of themselves, because I like the gym and I like exercise and stuff. So I would be more attracted to people who take care of themselves. But I don't know. We definitely need to work on the kinds of personalities I'm attracted to.
All tea, all shade, bitch, all offense.
I don't know why, I just have a thing for the bad boys, and it hasn't ended well a few times, for me anyway. So we're working on that. I want to give birth to a dog. How do I go about that? First of all, I know where you're coming from, because I'm obsessed with dogs, and I don't think I'd want to give birth to a dog, but I'd like to be the mother of a dog. Obviously that's not possible, but your best bet is to adopt a wee muffin, because there's a lot of pups out there without a home, and It's just very sad. So go for it. I love this question. What's your life motto and do you stick to it? I have a few life mottos. My main one would be something that my granny has always said to me my whole life, and it's onwards and upwards. It literally just means like whatever's happening in your life, just get on with it and level up basically. So that's always stuck with me, and she still says it to me if something's gone wrong. My other one is very basic. It is what it is. I know you're probably cringing right now, but it's true. Like, you can apply that to any situation and it works. Lost your job, it is what it is. Breakup, it is what it is. Lost a friend, it is what it is. You get the picture. But I feel like I stick to onwards and upwards anyway. Like, it might take me a while to get over something, but you just have to keep going. And I feel like I do try to like make the best out of a situation and learn from it. It is what it is. I definitely live by that every single day. Me and my friends say it to each other. I probably would say it to anyone in the conversation. You just have to accept things and move on. And I feel like they both tie in with each other. So I feel like I do live by them. I'm getting all emotional now, but I think onwards and upwards is going to stick with me throughout my whole life. I feel like I'm going to pass it on to my children and my grandchildren, if I have any, because it's very true and everyone should live by it, in my opinion. A bit more of a light-hearted one now after all those deep questions. Question of the day. I had to reword it too because I'd probably get taken off YouTube if I said it the way this person did. Why do people get freaky with sheep or dogs? That's a very interesting question. To be honest, I feel like you need to be a wee bit of a psychopath to do that, and I love animals, so I think it's disgusting. I'm not going to get all serious about it, like obviously it's a joke, but I feel like you're pretty desperate at that point. That was a nice one. I'm glad that that wasn't the last question. How do I pick the godmother and godfather of my child? Should I put their names in a hat? Well, the hat has worked pretty well for me, picking out these questions, but I feel like it's a wee bit more complicated when you're picking the godmother and godfather for your child. It's obviously a hard decision because if you have a lot of friends and family, then you're going to feel like you're disappointing a lot of people who think they would be the godmother or godfather. But you need to think about like what type of people you want to be around your child and how good they are with children, like just the basics. Are they a good influence? And are they actually going to spend time with the child? So that's my opinion. What you could do is pick a handful of people who you think would be a good godmother or godfather and then put them in the hat. Like, don't just put all your friends and family into a hat because you don't want someone who's not going to be a good influence or a good godparent in the hat. So maybe pick a couple people first if you can't decide and then put the names in that. So that's the end of this video. I hope you made it to the end, and if anyone does take my advice then you're welcome and I'm happy to help. I actually really enjoyed this video. I just love talking about people's problems, as bad as that sounds. Like, I like to help people, and it's probably helped me as well, just reminding myself of all this good advice. But if you still enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!